towers of glass and steel reaching into the sky, sacred temples where believers pray for wisdom and courage, and a 100-year-old prison cell to make your own. Today, we'll be helping you make the most of your trip to Hong Kong with easy-to-follow routes that you're guaranteed to love. This is your central one-day itinerary. When most people think of Hong Kong and its central business district, they imagine its iconic skyline, modern buildings, and bustling streets. But as you'll soon discover, following the right route can lead you to so much more. But first,
breakfast. It's 10 in the morning here in Hong Kong Station, and we're off to get a bite to eat. You probably wouldn't want to be here much earlier than that because you'd be competing with office workers trying to get their breakfasts in before work. And lunchtimes here can be especially busy. So by arriving a little bit later in the morning, we're going to avoid the queues, beat the crowds, and enjoy the most important meal of the day.
Hong Kong Station is situated right below the city's International Finance Centre and, more importantly at breakfast time, the IFC shopping mall. Between the station itself and the mall above, there are dozens upon dozens of cafes and restaurants to choose from. With everything from inexpensive fast food to premium fine dining, you're sure to find something for you. But what if you're looking for fantastic food at a more reasonable price? Welcome to Tim Ho Wan. Known as the world's cheapest Michelin star restaurant, Tim Ho Wan is famous for its authentic Cantonese cuisine. The dim sum here is freshly steamed to order, so even though it might take a few extra minutes to prepare, it's definitely worth the wait. While there's plenty of other options nearby, with this food at these prices, you honestly can't go wrong. And after that delicious start to the day, let's get going on our one-day tour.
Anyone who works in Central quickly comes to appreciate this network of bridges and elevated walkways crisscrossing the area. So whether it's rainy or windy or just too sunny, it's good to know that you can get from one side of Central to the other, completely sheltered from the elements.
And it's across two of these convenient bridges that we walk from IFC Mall straight to our first stop, Central Market. When it first opened in 1939, Central Market was the largest and most modern market building in Hong Kong. With Bauhaus design influences, the exterior of this pre-war building features long horizontal windows, streamlined facades, and curved corners. No longer used as a traditional wet market, the sound of live poultry has been replaced by lively performance. And instead of the smell of fresh fish, the aroma of local and international cuisine. The interior of this building has been revitalized as a hub of stylish boutiques, food outlets, and a community art space right in the heart of the city. Bear in mind that while the market itself opens at 10 a.m., most of the shops and eateries won't open until around 11 or 11:30. Getting to our next stop will take very little walking at all, as we'll be taken to our destination by the Central Mid-Levels escalator. Known as the world's longest outdoor covered escalator system, this series of escalators and walkways makes traversing the area's steep, hilly terrain a breeze. The escalators wind their way up from the central business district through SoHo with its bars, galleries, and antique stores, all the way up to the upmarket mid-levels residential area. In order to give mid-levels residents one of the world's coolest commutes, the escalators actually change direction during the day, coming downhill during the morning to take people to work, before reversing direction at 10 a.m. and running uphill for the rest of the day. Another reason why we shouldn't start this tour too early.
Despite numerous efforts to get people to stand completely still on escalators, one unwritten rule of Hong Kong is firmly in place. Stand still on the right and let anyone in a hurry pass on the left.
After just a few minutes on the escalator, you will arrive at one of Hong Kong's most ambitious revitalization projects yet. Tai Kwun was once the Central Police Station compound. It includes the former police headquarters, the Central Magistracy, and Victoria Prison. Entrance is free, and you will find yourself transported through time to Victorian and Edwardian courtrooms, corridors, and even jail cells. Victoria Prison was Hong Kong's first and longest running prison. often overcrowded, it later became a transit center holding Vietnamese boat people and asylum seekers before repatriation. Thankfully not. But every time I come here, I notice little details that hint at the history of this place. Perimeters of barbed wire, glass shards embedded in windowsills, signs written in Vietnamese, all serving as a solemn reminder that real people were once confined here. Yes, some of them were criminals, but others were men and women simply searching for a better life. I'm sure that they all have stories to tell. Of course, we are free to go, which means we can continue to explore Tai Kwun. Residing in the former barracks, you will now find shops and restaurants. Among the carefully restored original buildings now stand stunning contemporary art galleries like JC Contemporary, which is definitely worth a visit. With exhibitions often taking over courtyards and parade grounds, the diversity of architecture and functions somehow come together seamlessly. This is Tai Kwun, a place truly transformed into a center of history, culture, and the arts. We're heading out along Staunton Street towards our next stop. Staunton Street is the heart of the SoHo entertainment area, and while it really comes alive in the evening, there's plenty to see and do in the daytime too. One place that you want to stop at is Bakehouse by Grégoire Michaud. Inspired by artisanal neighborhood shops in Europe, Bakehouse promises to brighten your day with handcrafted sourdough, fine pastries, and friendly smiles. Now, there's a lot to choose from, but my travel partner has told me that I have to try the sourdough egg tarts.
It's actually really good.
Now you can either keep on going straight along Staunton Street with its cafes, bars, and restaurants, or head down towards Hollywood Road, where you'll find a plethora of stores selling arts, antiques, and trinkets. Whichever road you choose, you're just a few minutes walk from our next waypoint, PMQ. Originally a colonial-era dormitory, the former police married quarters, PMQ, has now reinvented itself as a creative melting pot. Within the huge courtyard, art truly comes to life. Artwork isn't just displayed here, it's made here. And when you visit, it's almost like you become a part of it. On either side of the courtyard stand two wings of former residential units that now house over 100 studios, stores, and workshops. Everything here is uniquely Hong Kong. And now let's sneak out of the back of PMQ and head to our next landmark. Built in 1847, Man Mo Temple is dedicated to Man Zheng, the god of literature, and Quan Tai, the god of martial arts. It is a sacred place where it's said that scholars and warriors alike once came to worship. Although nowadays you are more likely to see students praying for good exam results or office workers hoping to get a promotion. Now, there are some do's and don'ts that you should be aware of. As this is a sacred place, you should try to stay quiet. Flash photography is also prohibited within the temple halls. While tourists are definitely welcome, there will be worshippers here, so let's be respectful at all times. Now that we've agreed to the rules, let's look inside. Upon entering the temple, you will be immersed in a rich atmosphere of burning incense. Man Mo Temple is a treasure trove of religious items and cultural artifacts including coil incense, lanterns, and wishing ribbons, as well as the divine drum and Qing dynasty bronze bell. The architecture is elegantly traditional, featuring intricate carvings that showcase remarkable craftsmanship from centuries past. The temple does feature a few modern conveniences. Even though we had left our wallets at home, we were able to make a donation with electronic payment instead. And after gently hitting the drum and praying that you remember to like and subscribe, we could even get refreshments from a conveniently located vending machine on the way out. And now onto the final stretch of our tour, Upper Lascar Row. This outdoor street market features an eclectic mix of antiques, art, and quirky collectibles. a great last-minute stop for souvenirs. Finally, we just have to walk down a few more steps to get to Sheung-wan. Here you'll find an MTR station, as well as bus and tram stops to take you anywhere that you want to go. So what'll it be? Heading back to SoHo for your evening meal? Jumping on the tram to Causeway Bay for some evening shopping? For us, we'll be going back to where our story began, IFC Mall. While there's a huge selection of places to eat within the mall, we're heading up to the rooftop for an evening meal with an unforgettable view. This is Anthony in the edit, and if you made it this far, thank you so much. This is the first video on our channel, and it's my first time really editing anything like this, so I really hope you liked it. Please, please, please leave some comments down below to tell us what you think, and please check out our next video where we'll be going to the largest island in Hong Kong with a one-day itinerary that I think that you are really going to like. Thanks for watching. See you next time.